stock market crash and the reason I'm looking to buy. Okay. So yes, the market is crashing. 2023. Here we are. And yet, why am I saying I'm looking to buy? First of all, let me say that this is not financial advice. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows the future, but I am going to give you some data, some statistics that I'm looking at. So I'm going to share with you exactly what I'm looking at so you can make your own decision, and that way you can make an educated decision. So a couple of things. First, just a general thing, sentiment. So you know how they say when blood is running in the streets, that's usually the best time to buy. Well, I just pulled up an incognito window for YouTube here, typed in stock market, and here's what it's showing. Stock market is crashing down. Stocks are getting crushed. Stock market crash starting. Notice they're just saying starting there. Stock market crash. S&P 500 breaks the rising trend line. Whoa, it broke a trend line. Oh my gosh. Stock market crash. Recession will sink S&P by 40%. Wow. And by the way, these are all pretty recent. If you look at when they're recorded there, it's all public information, so I can share these. By the way, I have no recommendation or opinion on these particular videos, but they're all within the last few days or even within the last day. A billionaire investor predicts deep stock market crash. Michael Burry, famous, his $1.6 billion bet on Black Monday type crash explained. A lot of people have been talking about that, actually, for quite a while. Okay, so stock market crash, but what is the smart money doing? Now, that's a good question. Panic and chaos. The Fed has lost control. Stock market crash happening now. That was just streamed 5 hours ago. Okay, and on it goes. So first of all, the thing I just want to point out here, it's not about any one particular video. It's about what we're seeing here as the overall sentiment. All right, the overall sentiment that's going on is that most people are predicting a crash. Well, we've already gone down quite a bit. And that is part of what I'm going to share with you here as to why I am going to be looking for a buying opportunity. And I'm going to give you the data. Here it is. Here's the data right now. I'm looking at this index. This has been very reliable in the past. Now, again, past performance is not indicative of future results necessarily, so keep that in mind. But I have used this before, and it's worked out pretty darn well for me. So let me show you. And that's the index rate there. So you can go look at it yourself if you'd like to. And so that's the symbol. And what is it? What it is the, well, it tells you right there. So it's the percentage of stocks that are above the 50-day moving average in the S&P 500. So we look over here in the right axis, and there's our percentages. So what we're looking for is a very, very, very bearish sentiment. Remember, we want to buy low, sell high. We want to buy when blood is running in the streets. So if we look over here, we could see, whenever we get these low levels, really low levels. Now, the kind of the main level I look at is around 25, and the deeper we go, the better it is, the more dramatic it is. And right now it's, what number is that there? I've got old eyes, so I can't see very well, but you could probably see it there on the screen, 8.6. Yeah, so only 8.6 are above the 50-period simple moving average, 8.6% of them. So that's extremely low. So this is what I'm looking at as a signal where I'm like, oh, I might want to start looking to buy. Now, it's actually pretty close with precision, but it's not exactly a precision indication. In fact, this is not an indicator. Let's be clear on that. This is an index. Up here we have that index that we were just talking about, and then down here is the actual S&P, the ETF. And when it got this low, all right, again, into the zone. Now, we had a lower, almost a divergence here, if you will. So low and then a higher low on the index, and then on the S&P, made one more lower low, and then went up. Pretty nice move up. All right, actually went up and up and up and up on this one. No guarantee it's going to go that far. That's not what this is, by the way. This is not to predict years into the future or that we're going into a major bull run, but enough to make some money with, hopefully. So our next low point is here. And again, we get 2 there. And let me just break it down here. And that, again, pretty good. Got us into the zone, right? Within that time frame where we would start looking to potentially go long. And again, that worked out very well. Now this one here, this just had a spike, very short term. It just spiked down and went right back up. So the real body really stayed up there. But even that one, it did mark the end of this move down, and then a move up. Didn't make higher highs on the S&P, obviously. But that one definitely not as dramatic as this one or this one. Now where we are is we are again at a dramatic low. So we're lower than this one. We're lower than this one. We're not as low as that one, though. That was the most dramatic. And the S&P has not turned up at all yet. So how am I treating this? Well, again, it's one piece of evidence. I don't want to put too much into it, but it is, we look to trade, we look for evidence. And this is one piece of evidence that could indicate that, we could be coming into a time when now we start looking for a long trade and maybe even something significant. So what I'll be doing is I'll be watching the chart. So now we don't rely on indicators. We don't rely on indexes. We've got to learn actually how to read price action, momentum shifts, buy and sell, supply and demand, things like that. And that's what I'm going to be doing here. I got to see a bottoming pattern here in the S&P before I'll actually get in. And what I personally am going to do is I'll buy some out of the money calls. I'm going to, leverage up on it, but out of the money calls are really cheap. So, but if it really tears up, then there's a lot of money to be made in it. And if it doesn't, well, then it's small losses. And I'll also probably buy some near the money or at the money calls as well. That's my style. So now, how do you time this? Because again, it gets us within a zone, right? A couple of weeks or so. And so now you need to learn how to time the market. That's why I give all my viewers my timing indicator, market entry timing indicator. Feel free to go to indicatorwebinar.com, pick that up absolutely free. And for full disclosure, it is a common indicator that I've modified, and I use this on every single trade that I take, by the way. So that's how I rely on this. Every single trade I take, I use that indicator to get in.